visit the sky today. Hey, I'ma dance on the clouds today and make it rain.
Hey there everybody and welcome back. It's a little bit chilly, so we're going to go ahead and bring out the heat here, but look at that. So this is definitely not my typical video, and the reason why is because I really just could not wait to get in the cockpit and fly here. This is Orbx's newest scenery, which is Catalina Island. And for those of you guys who don't know, I'm a Southern California guy, and for any pilot in Southern California, Catalina Island is arguably the most beautiful place to fly, as well as one of the most challenging and daunting. In fact, they call it the airport that is like an aircraft carrier in the sky, Buffalo Springs Airport, and you guys will understand why in just a moment when we approach the airport. But for right now, we're just going to look at the southeastern side of the island, and I don't want to show you guys the entire island, number one, because it's far too big and this video would be an hour long, but also because there's so much to see and do here that I really want to leave it to you guys to be able to explore it on your own. So we're really just going to focus on the southeastern side and the approach to the airport. And we'll start right here, which is one of the best known features of Catalina, which is the Avalon Harbor. And so this is where a lot of the local and international tourists come to visit. There's a lot of ferries like the one you see down there that come in from Orange County and from Los Angeles, like Long Beach. We'll bring visitors to the island. Over here is where you can do just about anything. There's some fishing, there's snorkeling, all kinds of water activities, a lot of kayaking that happens, a lot of scuba diving. That is a more affluent area over there. It looks like a hotel, but it's not, I believe. And then you get into the main harbor area. Down there, a little circular building is the Avalon Theater, and you have a bunch of restaurants, a couple small cottage type hotels, and then towards the back there's even a golf course, and you can see all the different boats that people either personally own or use for commercial purposes down there. And then that green house that you see, that's actually the Wrigley House. So you guys know Wrigley's chewing gum. The family owns like half of this island, and that huge house is one of their many properties, and is one of the also big landmarks. Is also one of the big landmarks, of the island. Down there looks like a kind of commercial area. I've never been over there before, but I see it all the time when I fly over it. And then over here is one of my favorite features of the southeastern side, which is the rock quarry. So it's unique and beautiful because the airport is surrounded by obviously this huge island that looks almost like dark limestone. It's kind of white looking. It's a very light brown or kind of white color. And then when you look over here at this rock quarry, because it got dug so deeply into the island, it's almost this bright amber color, especially when you look at it on a very clear sunny day. Right now I'm flying in real time and with real weather, so it's not the brightest, but you can see just how vibrant the color is down there, and you can see all the different roads that have been paved out by the various loaders and diggers. And there's a lot of demolition, and it's a very active place. Most of the time when you fly over it, you'll see some loaders going up and down the slopes. But Orbx did this in remarkable quality. As somebody who sees this relatively frequently, a few times a year, I'll tell you that this is absolutely spot on. It's absolutely gorgeous. And you can see the amazing contrast that it has with the kind of light brown and green earth around it. Alright, so let's slide back over to our left seat, and let's turn around and head back towards the airport. We'll look at a couple other landmarks. I'll show you guys the VFR landmarks that you're looking for, especially when you're approaching from the eastern side of the island. Normally I would approach either straight on or from the western side, but I'll show you guys what the eastern approaches look like. So let's get our turn going. And a little bit of chop up here. Oh, and that's why I guess there's a cloud here. I don't even see the cloud, but obviously Active Skies says there is one. So let's give ourselves some nose down here. We're going to bring ourselves right up to the limit and try to get out of this thing. Alright, cool, we broke through. And now we can start bringing our power back because we're pretty much right there at the limit. But look at these roads down here. I mean, absolutely beautiful. There's some things that I don't even recall seeing in real life that I want to go back and check out next time I fly out. Incredible. The detail is just insane. Alright, so let's head back on over towards Avalon. And coming up here, you guys will see, you can just start seeing it here out of the right side. The Catalina Island Country Club and the golf course that sits right behind the Wrigley House. Never played there. I'm a terrible golfer anyways, but you guys can see it in stunning detail right there. And then ahead of us is the beautiful mountain range, of course, and it's just remarkable to see this gorgeous island popping up out of the ocean. You can actually see it on a clear day from the coast of Los Angeles or from Orange County. If anybody here has flown into or out of LAX, you may have even seen it from the sky. But up close and personal, it's one of the most beautiful destinations in all of Southern California. In fact, in my opinion, in the western United States. Alright, well, we've looked at the beautiful scenery for the most part. Now let's start talking about the approach. So, me landing at runway 22, and so from the southeastern side, we usually look for a couple of landmarks. One of them is the Wrigley Reservoir, which is right there, that little body of water that you see there at the top of the mountain. So that tells you that we're pretty much right over one of the first bays that we start to look for, which is right before White Cove. It's a place called Toyon Bay, which we're flying over right now. And then up ahead, you see the larger cove, which is known as White Cove. And so White Cove tells you that you're pretty much at a 45 from runway 22. And we usually land at runway 22 because the winds tend to come from the open ocean towards the island. And so almost all of the time you're landing on runway 22, facing out towards the open ocean, facing almost directly west. And because the sun rises in the east and sets in the west, evening time approaches here are absolutely beautiful, although they can sometimes also be blinding. So down there you see White Cove. So that tells us we should probably start thinking about approach here. So I'll walk you guys through this approach here in just a minute, but it's a little bit darker than I normally like. I mean, in real life, the sun would probably blind you if you tried to land on runway 22 facing out towards the west. So we're going to adjust the time of day here just to make it probably an hour earlier than what we see right now. And then we will start our approach. So let's have one last look at this beautiful dusk island. And then we'll adjust the time of day. Alright, so now it's a little bit brighter, looks a little bit better. So we have already started to pull our power back. Normally I would like to approach at around 2,500 feet. So we're going to get ourselves on down there while we start this turn, give ourselves a notch of flaps, and then start thinking about trim. So trim is absolutely crucial. Because I'm flying with active sky, obviously the winds can get relatively unruly, just as they can in real life. And the tricky thing about this runway is that it seems long. It's 3,000 feet, so just about any aircraft can land here. But the problem is that it is sloped, and so half of the runway, I want to say it's like 1,500 feet or 1,200 feet or so of it, is sloped upwards. And then the rest of it is relatively flat. And the reason for that is that this used to be a mountaintop, and they basically blasted the top off of it to create the Buffalo Springs Airport or the Catalina Island Airport. So do not be deceived by the slope of the runway, because on both ends is a cliff. That's why they call it the aircraft carrier airport, or the aircraft carrier in the sky, because it's relatively easy to undershoot or overshoot this thing, and then you end up flying off of a cliff or flying into a cliff. So the biggest thing is don't focus on the end of the runway like you may at some airports. You want to focus on the numbers closest to you and point the nose there, just as standard procedure. But do not look at the horizon too much, because you'll end up thinking that you're high, and then you'll slam into the edge of this cliff right here. So point the nose down, keep your trim up, try to stay on your numbers, make sure you're well configured before you lose sight of the end of the runway, which is happening pretty much right about now. You guys can see we're at 70 knots. Just keep the nose pointed. And then we're over the land. We can start to flare. And then hold it off just like a regular landing. And hold it. Hold it. Alright. So that went relatively well. It's actually the first time I landed at this Orbx Scenery Airport. So I literally was flying towards it, saw how beautiful it was, and decided to start shadow play. So there we go. So as I said, almost any aircraft can land here, and when you look, you see a DC-3 over there. I believe that's used to transport cargo to and from the island. I don't think it's used for tours and such, but you can see if that bad boy can land here, you can certainly fit a turboprop or one of your regular props here. And we'll go ahead and just take the full length of the runway, just so we can look at some of the scenery. And although FSX and P3D don't play very well with sloped runways, you can see this one, I'm not sure if it's actually sloped or if it just kind of has that illusion, but you can see it, it seems to have a slope to it, which is beautiful. And you guys can see we're pretty much looking right at the sun here towards the evening, which makes for beautiful approaches in the sim, but as I said, in real life, you would definitely want to have a good pair of sunglasses. So over here you see a kind of general aviation parking spot. I usually don't see too many planes over here in real life, as you're probably just kind of added for the scenic elements, but you can, you know, park up a plane over here. We'll configure ourselves after the landing, and we'll look at some of these static aircraft. Looks like there's a Beechcraft, a couple Cessnas, and a Piper, it looks like. As well as a little helicopter. Alright, and then we're going to turn up here, and you guys will be able to see the little visitor area in the terminal. That's where one of my favorite little cafes or restaurants are. There's usually a little tram that'll take you down there towards Avalon, so that you can go down to some of the tourist areas. And then the hangar. You can even see there's a caravan here. And then right above the hangar you can see one of the mountaintops and one of the radio masts. And there's Old Glory flying in the wind. So, look, absolutely beautiful. This airport means a lot to me, and I'm really, really happy to see that Orbx paid so much attention to it and made it so beautiful. The mesh, the resolution of the scenery itself is just second to none. And now I'm going to get out here and take a look at the terminal. But I'll leave that for you guys to explore as well. So, as always, thank you guys so much for joining. It's been a pleasure. And everybody take care.